So when we do toenail trimming, I like to use these, small, sharp bladed toenail trimmers. There's a couple of different types available, but I like the sharp ones rather than serrated blades because they work much better. Also, they're nice in my hands because they're nice and small. It's always easier to see toenails when they're on concrete, and you can see whether they're touching the ground and whether they need to have any toenail trimming done. Now, if we look at the back ones, here you can see that we've got quite a lot of extra length on both of these back feet, and you can also see that the lateral digit, that's the outside digit, on the back toenails are both curling sideways. That's something we see quite commonly in white alpacas. We don't seem to see it in coloured alpacas, but white alpacas with white toenails, we do sometimes see that twisting sideways. It just makes it a little bit harder to trim them, basically. So what we're aiming to do is to get the toenail trimmed so that it's level with the toe pad, and so that when they're standing still at the end on the concrete, the toenail is actually held off the concrete. So when we're going to do toenail trimming, I usually do the toenail trimming on the opposite side from where the handler is. So what we're going to do is just get ourselves right level with his front foot, and then we're just going to reach down to around about the lower leg and just pick up the foot. Males quite often pick up their feet very easily, and then we just hold the foot so that we can see what's going on the foot. So you can see the digital pad here, one on each side, and then the overlying nail here. And these aren't overly long, but what we do first is just pick out the dirt with the points, the tips of the toenail trimmers, if there is any. And then I usually just take off a little bit perpendicular to the toenail there so that we're not squeezing the nail bed, because I don't like that very much. And I take down each side of the toenail separately so that I'm not squeezing that toenail. And then I just take a little bit off the front when I'm happy. This one seems to have worn down quite well. Let's just have a little look at this one. Take off a little bit there. It's not too much to take off really, and I just take a little nibble off the front. I just feel as though that grows back a little less quickly then. He's not struggled at all, he's perfectly happy. Let's just pop that foot back down. And we're doing the back foot. We just come right up to the back foot. Don't worry about them kicking you when you're in front like this and close to them. They're not going to hurt you by kicking. You'll see that I put my hand over the opposite hip just to give him a little bit of stability. And then I'm going to reach down and pick up from about the hock there. And he picked that up very nicely. But what I want you to see is that I've got my knee underneath his knee just to try and give him a little bit of stability. There we go. Now he's just hopping around just to get himself balanced. And then sometimes what they do is kick out at this point, and I suggest you just hold on to the foot and let them settle, and they eventually just settle down. Sometimes they kick a little bit more than that. Right, on this one you can see that he's got this very curling digit here, which is always a little bit more awkward to deal with. But again, we're going to just pick the dirt out of the foot so we can see where the quick is on this side. We'll take off a little bit perpendicular to the line of the toenail. Take off the sides a little bit, take off that extra, and then a little pop off the end like that. Okay, that's nice and level with the toenail. This one's going to cause a little bit more of a challenge. We're going to take off that extra. There we go. Should be quite safe taking that off. Let's just pick out a little bit of that dirt here. It's always harder to get these ones level because they're twisting. All right, good boy, good boy. And we'll just take a little chunk off the end. There we go. That's about the best we can do with that toenail. Let's pop that down. Good lad. Okay, so reach down, pick up his foot. There we go. See, he's got a little bit of a curl going on there because of the overgrowth. So we're going to take that off. Again, perpendicular toenail. Take some little bites off each side, perhaps a little bit more at the end if you feel it needs it. and then a little bite off the very front edge, each side separately. Okay. Pick up the foot again from the hock. I've got my opposite stabilizing hand on his hips just as I start to pick up the foot. And I put my knee underneath his knee and then just reach around to get the foot and just curl the foot back towards me. There's a good deal of curling going on this one, which is going to be fun. As you can see, apart from a little bit of fidgeting, he's quite happy and stable. He's leaning on me just a little bit. Right, this one's going to be fun. I'm going to have to do a little bit at a time, see how we go. That looks like we're actually quite towards the end of the quick there, so I won't take any more off. We'll just try and nibble around that just to minimize the length of that one a little bit. You can see there where the quick is coming into the end of the toenail. So you don't want to take too much of that soft bit of inside nail off. Okay, and when we're ready, just pop it back down nice and gently, and then he can stand. So here's the toenails after we've finished. It's been a little bit of a job on some of these more curly toenails on the outside digits. As you can see, they look a lot better than they were, and those inside toes are not touching the floor anymore. You can't stop the lateral outside digits from doing what they're going to do, but you can see that they're shorter than they were, as that could cause some problems if they grow back into the foot.